Soon James puffed into Wellsworth. "Oh, hello. Hello, James and Rachel," said Edward. He was just resting now. "Oh, hey, Edward," said James. "Hey, Edward," said Rachel. James, is something the matter today?" James explained about his illness. "I have no time to stop," said James. I must get this train delivered to Titmuss Station for the Fat Controller." "I tried to stop him," said Rachel. "Even Thomas and Henry had to go, but no luck." Rachel and the others are right, James. You can't go down the tracks like this. It's not right. It will cause a lot of confusion and delay. Well, it, well, I, well, well, then I shall fix it," said James. "I know you're trying to be brave enough to do your work," said Edward, "but you should always but you should have stayed at Crowan's Gate today, James. You could have gotten like I would have took the train today." "Yeah, I know," said James, "but I don't have time for rest. This train is important to get to Titmuss Station in time." "Well, Sir Rachel, I think she'll follow what Edward says." "Yes," replied Edward. "Whenever the engine is ill, they either be stayed in those sheds or be taken to the works, like what happened to all of us." "Why, nothing happens to me. I never got ill. Now you excuse me, Edward. I'm afraid I have to go." "Well," said Edward, "do what you want, James, if you think it's right." James did not listen to a word Edward or even Rachel told them to. James started to move, but he couldn't. He said that James could not move. "Oh, bother," said James. James was too ill enough to go any further. Not having a good start off, I say," said Edward. But James knew Edward and Rachel, including the others, were right. He knew he was too sick to go on, and now he feels worse. "Well, I tried to warn you," said Edward, but you didn't listen." James knew Edward was right. He knew he needed help. "Look, James," said Edward, "how about I shunt you into the yards here until we try and send some help." James looked at Edward. "Edward's right," said Rachel. "You need help right now," said Rachel. "You're too ill to move." James knew his friends were right. This time he really needed help. "Fine," said James. "I'll let you help me." "Now that's the right James we know," said Rachel. Edward couldn't agree more with Rachel. Joe, "Now that's a good engine," said Edward, "like the Fat Controller would say." Soon the arrangements and plans were made, and with that Edward went to help James and put him into the yards. Soon Edward was coupled up to James. "There you are," puffed Edward. A workman uncoupled James from the goods train, and with that Edward moved James. Soon Edward shunted James into the yards. You take a good unrest," said Edward, "and I'll take the train." "Oh, thanks, Edward. You're welcome," said Edward happily. And with that he was uncoupled from James, as James was left on deciding into the yards to have a well-earned rest. Edward was soon backing down onto the goods train. "I'm sure you get better soon," said Rachel. I hope so, said James. Edward slowly coupled up to the train to make sure nothing bounces off. There we are, he said. Have a good run then, Edward, with Rachel, said James. Don't worry, said Edward. The train might be late, but I'll do my best to get it there, said Edward. And with that, Jane watched as Edward and Rachel puffed away with the goods train. See you later then, I suppose, said Rachel. See ya, said James. James was still disappointed how he didn't tell anyone about his illness, but he was glad he could have a well-earned rest. Meanwhile, at Titmuss Station, Percy was waiting for James to arrive, but he didn't know that it was going to be Edward. As Edward steamed in. Oh, said Percy, has there been a change of plan? As Edward puffed in. Hello, Percy, he said. Hey, Edward. Hey, Rachel. What's with you doing here instead of James? Oh, said Edward. But I'll explain what happened. He explained about James. And so then Edward took the train from Wellsworth to here, said Rachel. Well, said Percy. See, that's sad to hear, but at least the train is here, and at least James is finally getting some rest. Yes, said Edward. Quite so. I'm sure the flight controller will hear about this soon, and soon enough I'm sure he will get someone to pick up James and take him to the steamworks. But at least Edward promised he would get a train here, and sure he did. Well, said Percy, see, thanks for bringing the train anyways. You're welcome, said Edward. Back at Wellsworth, James was still waiting there for someone to take him to the works, when he heard a whistle. So he knew it was a familiar whistle, and indeed it was. It was Henry's whistle as he puffed in. Hello, James, he said. Oh, hey, Henry, said James. What are you doing here? You're at Wellsworth. Aren't you meant to take that train to Titmuss Station? To Rachel, James explained what happened. And so, Edward took the train to Titmuss Station. Well, said Henry, at least you have learned your lesson about sometimes help is needed. I know, said James. I should have listened to all the advice everyone gave me to stay at Cromwell's Gate, but I didn't. Ah, well, said Henry, we all know our lessons at these times. Tell you what, how about I couple up to you and bring you to the steamworks myself? Oh, and someone can message the flight controller about that, and someone can tell Edward and Rachel that you're not here anymore. All right then, said James. With that, Henry went to get ready. With that, he buffled up to James. The arrangements were made with the Wellsworth station master. With that, everything was in set. I send the message on to the flight controller, said the station master. He's fine with Henry taking James to the steamworks. I've also telephoned the Titmuss station master there and to tell Edward and Rachel. Sure, right you are, said James's crew. A welcome and couple up Henry to James, and with that everything was ready to go. Don't worry, James, said Henry. I will get you to steamworks in no time at all. Thanks, Henry. You're a really good friend. Anything for a friend, said Henry. And with that, Henry poured James away from Wellsworth Station all the way to the steamworks.